And if you just reach for that volume button, then you've understood the importance of sound.
I thought we weren't going to do that.
What?
What's up, YouTube? This is my sound man, Dave Carroll. He's a riot. Today we're talking about sound on a film set. So today we're talking about the importance of sound while Dave takes a swig of water. And like I've said many times, you need to have good sound, because bad video is forgivable, but bad sound really isn't. It's all garbled. Yeah, agreed?
Right. I mean, have you ever listened to anything with bad sound? I'm sure you actually haven't realized
This vlog.
that the sound was bad. This is probably one of those examples.
In my second vlog, I used Ali's like
His
$8 lav mic, and it was
Very
just
nice.
like,
Yeah.
it was just fucking terrible.
Yeah.
So
Well, that'll come up too.
that'll come up to bad equipment. So let's run down like 5 points. 5 points?
Yeah.
5
Sounds
points
about right.
to make sure your sound doesn't suck.
5 points. If we can narrow it down to that, I think.
Number one.
Number one.
What's number one?
Number one is
What was number one?
what was number one?
Number one
discussed
was
this.
Yeah, we discussed
We-
it.
we came prepared.
at length.
First and foremost,
Okay.
mic placement.
Number one, mic placement. Talk to us about mic placement.
You're going to be dealing with two types of mics mostly, your boom and your lav. So most importantly, I want to say 90% of the time you're going to be dealing with your boom. That's what's in your hands. The lavs are kind of set it and forget it, and we'll get into that later. But really, when you're dealing with a boom, depending on the company that makes it, you could have Rode, you could have Sennheiser, sure, there's a bunch of different kinds. The thing they all have in common about these shotgun microphones is exactly that. So picture a shotgun, what does it do? It releases, it's a cone, right?
It's a good spread.
It's a good spray. And there you go. Right here we have an example. This is a Rode NTG2, I believe.
It's an NTG2.
Fantastic. This is Phil's personal microphone. It's got my endorsement, a glowing endorsement. And so, okay, this is what I was getting at. Basically, picture a very narrow cone of sound coming right down at me. And if it's just a little bit off, you're going to get nasal, you're going to get chesty, you're going to get, you're going to know.
Breasty. You might get breasty.
You might get a little breasty.
It's not bad.
But the most important thing really is play with your gear. When you get your hands on it, whether it's you purchased it, used, rented it, own it, listen to it, put it through your mixer, get your headphones on, get a friend over, start having a conversation, just play with placement, see where you get that best sound. You will know when it's on because it'll sound golden to you. And that's another thing too, is get your sound, get your signature, get what you think is right. Don't listen a lot of the time to what people are going to tell you. You're gonna hear across the gamut from anyone who works in the industry. They've all got their own techniques, their own styles, and everyone's right. In this kind of art, I'm sure you can say the same thing. There's no real wrongs that you can commit unless you're getting absolute garbage sound.
Yeah. Or garbage image where everything's out of focus.
Exactly.
And there's no point for it.
At the end of the day, if it works, it works. And I think that's like a really important thing to keep in mind.
What about labs? Like, this is not a lab. This is about the size of a lavalier.
So say this
where
was,
would you position this on you? Because my shirt's black. It won't
Okay.
show.
Well, when we're dealing with movies, obviously we don't want to see these lavs, and
Obviously, yeah.
they'll come in. Right now, this is a foam cover, but they're usually a lot smaller. And what you
Yeah.
want to do is you want to get it kind of in that dead zone in the solar plexus, where the shirt and the clothes kind of hang over. You want to be very wary of the material that you're using under. If it's kind of scratchy or whatever, you're not going to get great
So
sound.
like the clothes sounds like.
Work with costume. Ask them. Hey, listen, are you using? Is it polyester scarf or is that silk where I'm not going to really hear? Don't be afraid to talk to your crew members. That's one of the most important things.
Okay.
So
I remember once we had positioned a lav on someone's cheek. When was that?
yeah, well that's another thing too. Unconventional mic placement. Say you're shooting a scene where you can't get that moleskin sandwich. Basically, what you're doing is you're taking it's a piece of felt basically, and you're making a sandwich with that mic, and you're sticking it right there, hiding the wires, everything. What if you're doing a scene where Buddy just got out of the shower and he's yelling something over to his wife? You don't have room in the bathroom for a boom, and if there is, you're going to get a ton of echo anyway. It's not going to sound great. Echo, very amateur term. Excuse me.
Reverb.
Thank you.
Reverb.
So I mean, what we did was we got the lav, the battery pack clipped onto the back of his towel. Camera's not seeing it. Ran the wire up his back, over the ear, and just kind of hit it in his hair. He had kind of shaggy brown hair. It worked.
He was
perfectly.
looking off camera anyway, so it was hidden.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
We've done it once with a cell phone too.
We've done it with
where
cell
we stuck
phones.
it under a cell phone.
Glasses. If you can wire a mic right into there. I mean, a lot of things work. sky's the limit. If you can think like MI6, man. If they can spy, you can spy.
Okay.
Don't get creepy.
Since you spoke so much about it,
Right.
let's just jump back into a little bit. Some of the gear you can use. So
Okay.
just like run through the types of mics you can use, from the one I can never pronounce and I call from the Stargate term, that PMZ thing, to PMZ with those flat mics.
Piezo mics. You're never gonna use those.
Okay, never mind. So,
Don't use those.
So this is a shotgun mic.
Yeah, that's
right?
that's a
They all
shotgun.
look more or less the
It's a-
same.
Yeah, people call it shotgun boom.
What is this called?
That's just a cover.
A
foam
dead
cover.
cat?
No, dead
Is it
cat
dead
is
cat?
a dead. So this is going to generally go in what a lot of people will call like a blimp or a dead
Zeppelin?
cat. A zeppelin is what Rycote uses. Road. I don't know what they call it, but they're all the same. Basically,
It's a blimp.
it's a
I think it's
cage
called a
with a
blimp.
suspension mechanism that'll basically be holding your mic on a suspension, so that if you shake it up, you're not going to get a bunch of rattling noise.
So it's kind of free floating in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boom handling still is an issue. Don't trust your gear 100%. A lot of it is in the finesse that you use, with your hands. Don't jerk your boom around everywhere. It's going to sound like
Yeah,
garbage.
yeah.
It's just going to, I've been through shoots where I've had to key out just unbelievable amounts of noise because I trusted my gear too much.
Okay.
These are mistakes that you make. You don't want to make them on set.
But you can.
It will happen.
If you have if you have a good mic,
Mhm.
a solid mic, a Rode mic, and
Sure.
no blimp, and you're indoors, and all you have is a broomstick.
People have started.
I've done it.
Yeah,
I once did it with scaffolding, pieces of scaffolding.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. I mean, we shot a documentary when we were getting started on punk rock, and,
Oh, yeah,
and our
right.
gear was decidedly punk rock as well.
It was pretty DIY, as you called it.
Yeah, DIY.
DIY.
Do yourself it.
Do yourself.
Like what I said, if it works, it works, and
If
the
it works,
sound
it
from that
works.
was great. It
Yeah, it
turned
sounded
out
pretty good.
Turned out
It
well.
was better than the image in the film.
Hey, thanks, Bill.
No problem.
But yeah, so different types of gear. I think that first and foremost, go with a trusted brand. Don't go and get these booms from India. They might be really tempting, $70 for a Sennheiser clone. Oh my God! But at the end of the day, you're going to start getting loose connections here and there. You're going to start to get a buzz where there wasn't a buzz before. Get quality gear, but don't break yourself over this. Outgrow your gear. Get better than it. There's always a market for used gear. Always.
Unless you bought, a mic for $40, then
Then-
that's yours forever. It's going in the
Exactly.
ground with you.
That's it. That's it.
So get to the point where the gear can support your skill level, and then move up.
exactly.
Just like you would with camera gear.
And
right? Not so
sell
different.
it to some kid who just got out of school who would be more than happy to get $200 or $300 off their first microphone.
What I'm using here is a Rode Video Mic Pro Plus, I think, or
Okay.
Pro Micro. I can't remember the name of it.
Right.
Again, I'll link it down in the description. What are we, like 6 feet from the camera?
Mhm.
This is further than I normally sit because we're in a wider shot. But I don't know. What do you guys think of the sound? Like for the two of us talking, we're
Drop a
talking more or
comment.
less. Drop a comment, let us know, and maybe next time we'll, lab ourselves. I don't know. Anyways, what's the next one we want to talk about?
All right. Well, we talked about gear. We want to.
I know it. I know. Okay. Dave gets on my nerves on set. Dave is always off listening to something. So one, he's listening to playback, so he doesn't hear me when I call him sometimes.
Keep an ear off.
Yeah,
If you're
off.
gonna listen, you're generally going to be recording in mono anyways. Just keep an ear off so you can hear.
So like I'll call a shot, we're ready to go, and Dave's just like,
What? Hold up. That last one wasn't good.
if only that's what was happening. It was more like I've started rolling, and Dave's like, oh, are we going? So
Record.
it happens, yeah. Actually. So what I want to talk about is stuff that you need to do on set. So like the things that come to mind from a video guy's perspective are wild lines and room tone.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's
room
just
tone.
talk about room tone.
Room tone
And
is
the
a big one.
cluster collect that is room tone
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah. That is a big one.
Room
So-
tone finds a way.
It does. It does.
It doesn't.
Room tone
You
as
still
life
often
does.
Forget it.
So often you forget it. Often you're gonna have to, Okay, so let's explain what is room tone. A lot of people listening to this.
Can I layman's it?
Go
It's
for
the
it?
tone of the room as it was while you were recording, with everyone and everything in it.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Okay, so basically what you're going to want to do is you're going to be recording scenes. There's going to be directors in the background giving, okay, enter Julian, and, Julian walks through the door. You don't want that in your film.
No,
that's
obviously,
breaking
yeah, it's garbage.
many walls. That's garbage. You basically don't want what you don't want in the soundtrack.
Right, so all the background stuff,
Right,
like
background,
me calling out to you or the actor or
Set
the kid
photographers
or
can get carried away.
George.
You might get a little bit of a shutter click here and there. Oh, hey, just hope to God that doesn't happen during the line. But this is where room tone comes in. You stand there at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day or when everyone is willing to shut up for 30 seconds.
Or not necessarily the day, the wrap the beginning or the end of that location before we change location.
Yeah, that's important. You want to get it as close to the conditions you shot it in as possible.
Right.
Because that way it's easier to match. That way we can fill in those things that we don't want, those shutter clicks, those lines of direction with dead space.
So basically, like in the space between me and you talking, so I say, "Hey Dave, how are you?" And you answer something.
Exactly.
Right? So we want to count like pull out the part where I said and you answer something.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just take out the audio track, it's a vacuum, so you hear it, right?
Yeah.
So
And
we need that tone to like fill that in, right?
Absolutely.
And often you're rushing, you're running, it's a mess. Remember to take it. It's useful.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very
Absolutely.
useful tool.
If you're only using lavs, they're not going to get a lot of the room. They're going to be really close. You're going to get just actors, and that's going to sound like they're in a vacuum. People are going to be watching the movie. Goes, don't they have any air to breathe in there? You know what I'm saying? But so that's it. You're gonna also not just to fix mistakes, but to add atmosphere.
To add atmosphere.
Add
create the space.
If you're filming outdoors, it's especially important. Busy streets, parks,
We've done
lots
that.
of birds. Remember the birds in 1501? I mean, that was.
I still to this day never heard those birds. You heard them.
Well, I heard them because I
He
fixed
heard
them.
I never heard them. It was something. What was it? Bird loop.
There was a few. Well, we were shooting and there were a lot of birds.
Yeah, we were in a big park in the middle of the spring, so the birds were just like
They don't wait for
doing
dialogue.
what birds do.
Yeah.
Airplanes.
Planes, yeah. I mean, listen, if you
planes,
can't,
trains, and automobiles, right?
that's it.
Yeah.
Those are the things you got to watch out for. Another thing is be in touch with your. I think I said this before, but don't be afraid to speak up to the crew, to the director, to. Sometimes directors can be carried away and say there's a scene that wraps and there's a bus passing, but the director yells cut right before the bus is finished passing. So you want to tell the director, hey, listen, if things like that happen, wait for that sound to sort of conclude before we yell cut, because we don't want like a hard. We want tails to work with. As a sound guy, it's a luxury, but it's something you shouldn't be afraid to ask for. The worst they can say is, we don't have time
for it all the time, and I 90% of the time forget about it, and I just don't cut anyways.
But if you don't want whoever's doing your post-production, be you or someone else, to be cursing your name, or whoever recorded it at the end of the day.
Makes sense.
It's going to come back twice as hard on you if there's an unfixable issue that's going to cost the production a lot more money to fix than if you could have just taken 30 seconds and got it on set.
Get it on set, don't get it in post.
Right,
That's
right.
a universal.
Universal.
Yeah. ADR or wild lines? What's
Right.
better and what's easier, and what do you think?
If you have a feeling that you can't catch, very well that line that is being spoken on set, say somebody's, where are my keys? And he's spinning around saying this, and you can't follow him with the boom, and as he's doing that, you're getting a ton of laugh scratch. When there's a bit of downtime, get him somewhere in a closet, in a quiet space. Again, don't get creepy, sound guys. And get them just to say those lines.
I feel like in this day and age, we shouldn't be telling people to take towels into closets. Harvey.
Oh,
What?
yeah. You know what? You got to be very careful.
Yeah. Take, the buddy system.
Buddy
Bring
system.
someone with you.
That is a good idea.
And I don't mean like two guys. I mean like
hopefully someone
bring the
decided-
makeup artist or something, Like make sure everybody's comfortable.
Hey, you
if
wanna
you're
see
going
how
into
movies
dark
work?
confined space? No, David. Everybody should be comfortable at all times.
Yes, that's.
Well, moving on.
All joking aside, that
Yeah.
is actually very
Yeah.
important.
Including the sound guy, who sometimes is not.
Well, I think I just turned a shade of red.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to fix that and fix it in post.
I'm not gonna fix it in
Nice.
post.
Nice. Wild lines, somewhere quiet. Hey, just deliver "Where are my keys" a couple of times for me. Do it, differently.
Where
And then-
are my keys?
Where are my keys?
Where are my keys? Maybe bring the director if he's
These
got the
keys
downtime.
are making me thirsty. Yeah, bring
Yeah.
the director sometimes.
I did not kill her. I did not.
Yeah, so sometimes that can save you an ADR session, which is costly, time-consuming, and a nightmare for everyone. You don't want an ADR session. So if you can get
That being
those
said,
ADR
though,
yeah,
most Hollywood movies are strictly ADR nowadays.
but it is costly and time-consuming. And on our level, if you're starting out, it's not something that you want to be doing.
It's
often.
not easy to do.
Yeah, and that way, there comes to be a time where, we don't even have to exchange very many words on set, but we know where we are. Like,
Yeah,
I can look over at Phil and see what he's doing and understand where I need to be in a certain amount of time, relatively speaking. Sometimes. We're working on it. We're getting there.
We're getting there. We'll get there. But I think people clients especially, are always confused when I show up with a sound guy. They're like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
I was like, that's the sound guy. They're
Yeah.
like, I thought you did that. I'm like, no, I'm the video guy. But you can't do sound. I could, but why should I? Right? I got plenty of other stuff to worry about. That's not what I specialize in.
It's a
He
big
can do it
job.
way better than I can, so I'll focus on my thing. He'll focus on his thing. We both know what the other is doing. We get a better product at the end of the day.
That's it.
Sometimes most of the time, not sometimes, it's going to cost a bit more money because there's two
It
people
obviously will,
that
100%.
are getting paid to do a job. But I think after clients see just a bit of a sample of what our combined skill sets do,
That's it.
I think the money becomes, we're not talking about like millions of dollars here, right? So I think they understand, they're like, oh, okay, that's money well spent.
But it can be a hard sell sometimes.
It is,
especially
it
if
can be.
people, you're coming from somebody who's, running a business, and they have no idea about the sound.
Yeah,
of it.
yeah.
For them, making a movie is, hey, I'll pick up a camera and shoot. Oh, that's how Martin Scorsese did it, right?
Sure, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, that's how they shot nothing, ever.
Ever.
It's a tough sell sometimes, but it's a worthwhile sell.
It absolutely is.
Let's wrap her up because we're running on 20 minutes of
Wow.
talking.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, no, that's right there, 20, 30, 32.
34, 5.
Stop that. How do we want to sum this up? I want to take the last point. I want to take the last point and call it know your role. David, tell them how you know your role as a sound man.
Trial
Would you like
and
to be
error.
called the sound man.
You know what?
do you like to be called?
I'm not picky. Sound man, sound guy, sound engineer. I always thought was a little pretentious. I don't
Yeah.
have an engineering
Sound
degree.
person.
It's if you want to go genderless, I guess that's the trend now. Sound person.
Cisgendered sound
is
person.
probably- yeah, like
I'm keeping that.
privileged sound guy. Like what?
Know your role.
Know your role. I think that's incredibly important. Everybody has a place and a purpose on set, and it's great to be eager and to want to help out and to cross departments. But a lot of the times, it's gonna slow things down.
Sometimes,
Don't get
yeah.
a big head. Don't just stay. Do the best job that you came there to do.
I find the best sound services, let's call them services,
Sure.
are the ones I don't notice.
Right.
Like the times where I forget you're there
Mhm.
are the times that we're rolling so smoothly that,
I'm just a part of the
we've said we've
infrastructure.
taken the time at the beginning of the shoot or prior to it, so you know how long of
Where am I gonna stand?
where you're gonna stand, your
What's
tails
the
are set
frame?
up, what the frame. Once that's all set up, I don't really want to worry about Dave after that. I got a million other things
Agreed.
to deal with. So
You do not want the bane of a cameraman's existence is to have that boom dip into the shot. It's the last thing you want. Understand your frame. So what I do is,
Yeah.
just a quick and dirty trick is I set a line on my eye line. I know that I'm standing here. I know that line on the horizon or on that wall is not going to change, and I will not dip my mic past that line because I know that that's going to go into his
you know
shot.
how many of my best takes I just are like
Mhm.
deliver like crazy dialogue to me, like heavy dialogue.
It all began when my father took me to the circus. I was a fragile child, and I wasn't used to seeing elephants.
That's when I cuss Dave out in post production.
Basically.
I just get like the best performance, and it's just like.
And it's like the whole time I'm getting great sound. This sounds amazing. It sounds like,
I'm right in there.
It sounds like I'm right in there.
My
I usually am.
favorite, and I use the term loosely, is when I'm on like an extreme close up, like here, and you're like, "Oh, that's the frame, fantastic!"
Boom.
And somehow it's like a little phallic
Yeah, right.
invader just entering the space all the time.
Oh, but you can key it out in post, right?
sure,
Of course,
that's
of
a
course.
thing that people say. Let's key out that mic from an eyeball.
Right.
Maybe
The ball.
I'm a bit of an asshole.
You know what?
on
No,
set
listen.
sometimes.
Set is like it's like a battlefield. Honestly,
You need to be a bit of an asshole to run a.
You
that
have
many
to,
people.
otherwise you'll get nothing done.
I find
And
that when we started, I always wanted to be friends with like the actors. I wanted to be friends with everyone, and I realized very quickly that I can't be friends with everyone on set. Afterwards, no problem. At the rap party, I'm doing the karaoke.
Okay, yeah.
kind of okay.
yeah,
But
the karaoke was good.
and I'm recting up there with everybody, but on set,
You have to be a
I
bit of
kind
a,
of
of
be
a
a jerk,
tyrant. It's
yeah.
not. It's not even like it's understood. That's another thing too. People aren't going to hold
I
it
think
against
people-
you.
yeah, I've noticed that.
I won't. At the beginning, I was like very sensitive to all that.
I
like
find
being
people-
snapped at, being. But you sort of realize that it's like, okay, any of these people, they're on your side.
and then Dave would be like, "What? When did he yell at me?" And I would yell at him. I would just like
It happened.
lose it on set and be like, "David, get down from that elevator right now!" But Phil, I'm putting up my. I don't give a fuck. Get down.
Yeah.
And Peter would be like, "Yo, I don't think it's okay to yell at Dave in front of the crew." And I was like, "When did I yell at Dave?" And Dave's like, "Dave, tell him." He's like, "I don't. You didn't yell at me."
Yeah, really,
And then the
it's-
cast was
it's,
like,
um,
"No, I don't think he yelled. Did he yell at him? No one's listening."
And what it was
Everybody's doing
is-
their own thing.
yeah, exactly.
And
So
I
most
probably
of the
should have
time-
yelled at you.
But
But
I
you
never
were on
even
top-
considered
You were in
it.
a freight elevator. You couldn't hear me, so I
You
needed to
needed
yell a little bit.
I needed to be somewhere where I wasn't.
It was
we were
unsafe.
Running time. It was unsafe. It's understandable, guys. I mean, listen. It's
Tempers run hot on set.
They do.
Nothing
They
is
do.
personal.
Especially when things are running overtime and people have been on their feet for a good, 12, 14 hours. Okay.
What do you want to tell all the young sound entrepreneurs? See what I did there? You like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Soundpreneurs.
Oh man, I guess if I could leave y'all with one thing, value your time, value yourself and your work. I want to leave off by saying you're probably going to start off doing a lot of free work, and that is cool and good. Do that.
We all start there.
That's it. You know, pay it forward. It's all going to come back to you at the end of the day. There will be a time where, you know, you're going to start valuing you're going to have some work to show other people, and the quality and the stuff that you're going to be proud of, and you're going to have a little demo reel of some of your best stuff, and that is something to be proud of.
I think so.
Yeah.
As far as unpaid work goes, the same can be said for the video side of it.
Yeah, it's
if
across the
you want to
industry.
do it, if there's something that says to you, I should do this, not, ooh, this could be my money maker.
Right.
I mean, like, if there's something that speaks to you about the project, just do it.
Yeah.
If you have the time and you can, and it costs you no money, it just costs the time investment, I say do it.
Yeah. Most of the time, you know, when they say they can't pay you, they will cover your consumables. They'll cover your batteries,
They'll feed
your
you.
tape. They'll feed you.
You'll grow your network.
Huge.
That's very important.
A
That's the
huge,
most important
huge thing is the network. You know, when people see the value of you know, you on set, if you're somebody who, you know, they want to invite you back, that speaks volumes. You know, if your attitude on set is good, you always keeping that smile on your face, despite being yelled at, despite being, you know, overworked or
Malnourished.
whatever. It doesn't matter, man. Just keep that smile. Take a big bite out of that sandwich, and you know, just
do it.
just do it.
Yeah, Nike.
That's right.
So that's it. I think we're gonna cut it here. I feel like it's gonna be a really long episode because Dave didn't give gaps between his talking
Sorry,
points.
do you want room tone? All right, 30 seconds.
All right.